So the next thing we need to talk about is nutrients in muscles. So obviously we need to look at amino acids because at the end of the day, muscles are protein. And in order for muscles to grow, we need to make sure that the amount of protein that is being broken down in our muscles is not more than the amount of protein we are feeding our muscles. Because as soon as we have that, an opposite situation, we are actually going to have our muscles going into a catabolic state and they're going to start breaking down, and then we're really not going to be able to achieve our fitness goals. What's really important to remember is the first 24 to 48 hours post-exercise is when your muscles are absolutely primed to absorb all the nutrients that they need for healing, growth, and repair. So, you know those people who go to the gym and then they reward themselves with a slice of cake afterwards? Not so good, okay? Because actually your body is being primed, your muscles are primed for good nutrition, and if you put bad things in there, you're going to make poor quality muscles. So, making sure immediately post-exercise, but even up to 48 hours afterwards, that you're really giving your body the nutrients that it needs to help stimulate growth and repair. Really, 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 really important. But this was really just to show you that you need to have, in order for muscles to grow, you need muscle synthesis to be better there or more than muscle breakdown. So if you're gymming like crazy and you're not supplementing properly with protein, you're not going to build muscle. We're going to look at branched-chain amino acids because branched-chain amino acids are probably the most important amino acids for muscle growth. Branched-chain amino acids, there are 3 of them: leucine, isoleucine, and valine. And what's really interesting about these amino acids compared to others is that they're hardly metabolized in the liver. They really are metabolized in muscle cells. So that really shows you that these 3 amino acids are absolutely important for muscle growth and development. What we know about branched-chain amino acids is they enhance the metabolism of muscle cells, that promote cell proliferation, so they make more cells, and they improve exercise performance as well as functional recovery, even during exercise. So as you're exercising, you're less likely to hurt yourself or injure yourself if you're taking adequate amounts of branched-chain amino acids. So some people will take branched-chain amino acids before they train. Some people will take them before they train and during their training session and after their training session. Some will just take them before or after. It's really dependent on what you feel would be the right thing for you. But I would say, if at any time you're going to use them, absolutely you should be using them post-exercise to help with healing and recovery, and that's also when you're going to maximize the absorption of those amino acids back into the muscles. So what else do these branched-chain amino acids do for you? So we know that muscle fatigue and poor performance are once again associated with these low glycogen stores. Isoleucine, which is one of these branched-chain amino acids, is actually shown to prime muscle cells for the absorption of glucose into the cells, and so stores glycogen. So you can replenish that glycogen that you lost during exercise much more efficiently if you take branched-chain amino acids. The other thing that we know about people who do a lot of exercise is that people who exercise are happy, right? Okay, because what we've noticed is that people who have a lot of tryptophan and serotonin in their brains have poor performance when it comes to exercise. Okay, I don't know. I thought it was all good. But what we found is that high levels of tryptophan in the brain actually impede performance. So what branched-chain amino acids do is they actually impede the uptake of tryptophan into the brain during exercise, improving stamina and increasing intensity of workout. Okay, so then if you're somebody who's too happy, you actually might want to take those branched-chain amino acids before you train so that you don't have too much tryptophan when you're exercising. I'm just teasing, but I guess you could look at it like that, okay? And then finally, not only do they help with building muscle, they actually increase the rate at which our bodies use protein to make muscle, and they also increase the capacity of a cell to make more muscle. So you just are all around doing yourself a huge favor if you take branched-chain amino acids. And then just so you know, 3 to 4 grams of leucine is needed to promote maximum protein synthesis. So you do actually need quite high doses of BCAAs in order to help muscles to grow. Whey protein is the next one. What I like, whey protein is a natural source of branched-chain amino acids. So you can choose to use branched-chain amino acids or you can choose to use whey protein. It's really up to you. I personally quite like whey protein because it's got a calorie count to it as well. So if you take that immediately post-exercise, it actually fills you up a little bit and less likely than to maybe make that chocolate cake purchase at the Kauai on your way out or whatever it is. One of the things that I just wanted to say about proteins is there's so many proteins on the market. And there's so many bad proteins on the market. Really, there's so many that are heat-treated, badly processed, virtually not bioavailable at all. So, you can go and buy a cheap protein, you really can, but is it going to work for you? It's up for debate, really. So, it really becomes important to use a good quality protein. And there are lots of different proteins. This one will say, use only the concentrate form of the whey. This company will say, use only the isolate form. But the reality is you need both, because you need the benefits of the concentrated amino acids, and you also need the benefits of the immunoglobulins and all the other components of protein that are so beneficial for your body. And casein, by the way, which is another one that a lot of companies sort of promote as a great source of protein. It's also a type of milk protein. It's shown to actually not help muscle strength at all. So it will help your muscle to grow, but it won't make your muscles stronger. And then just bear in mind, vegetarian proteins. Obviously, if you're vegetarian, you need to use a vegetarian protein, which is maybe why our branched-chain amino acids then become quite important, because they are vegan. Nice thing about whey protein, it also helps to reduce abdominal fat. Okay, so if there's no other motivation to start taking weight to go, that should be it. Next one I want to just talk about is glutamine. Whey also has a natural amount of glutamine in it. I think everybody in this room is very, very familiar with glutamine, right? We use it for everything. We use it for gastrointestinal concerns, food allergies, all those sort of things. That's, I think, where most of us, especially in the health shop industry, that's really where we focus our glutamine recommendations. But glutamine is really, really important for muscles as well. One of the reasons glutamine is really important for sports people, though, is because it's also really important for mental energy. So glutamine actually gets taken up in the brain, converted into a form called glutamic acid, which the brain uses for energy. And that lack of energy that the brain has in some sports people is actually called central fatigue, and can actually be the reason why a really well-trained athlete can, on the day of competition, actually hit a wall, because their brain just cannot motivate their bodies to go where they need them to go. So even though the body is there, ready and fit and healthy, their brains just can't do it. Okay, so glutamine, anti-catabolic, so it's going to prevent muscles from breaking down, nice and simple. It's also helpful for athletes on a calorie-restricted diet, because what we know is when you have low calories, even if you are eating protein, if you're just not eating enough calories, you are going to go into a catabolic state. So if you are cutting for competition or something like that as a bodybuilder, you may find that taking glutamine will actually help you so that you're not losing excessive amounts of muscle mass. Okay, also helps to delay muscle soreness post-exercise, so that stiffness and that pain and all of that sort of thing that you experience. Also really important for glutathione production. Glutathione is one of our major antioxidants in our body, and we know the more we exercise, the more our bodies are metabolically active, the more free radicals we make. So we do need a relative amount of antioxidants to help combat the damage that can potentially be caused by exercise. And then finally, glutamine actually helps your body to make glucose, so replenishing those glycogen stores again. And then I read this interesting thing, coming back to those sports drinks, that some athletes underhydrate, or they are underhydrated by as little as 2%. And the problem with that is then if you're only dehydrated to such a small degree, you don't feel thirsty, so you don't drink water. And then what happens is athletes can't thermoregulate, so they overheat. So I don't know if any of you have ever had heat stroke or anything. It's absolutely, I had it once. See, that's why I don't exercise. It's absolutely terrible. You really cannot do anything. It's like your head pounds. You almost feel ridiculous, because you're like, I don't understand why I can't move my muscles or anything. It's absolutely terrible. What research has actually shown is that if you give athletes who are slightly underhydrated glutamine along with water, they are much more able to rehydrate than if you just gave them water alone. And that actually water is a more effective way of rehydrating your body than any of those energy and sports drinks are. They might have a few electrolytes in them, they might have a little bit of glutamine in them or whatever, but the levels that they're having in them are so low that they're really just not going to have any appreciable value. You might look cool, though. I've realized that that's what sports drinks are. It's like a coolness value. Also, one of the other things that we must remember is when people are exercising a lot, they're under a lot of stress, and so they're making a lot of cortisol. And then if you add to that people are just stressed in general, so they already have high cortisol, their cortisol levels go through the roof. And so really, it's important to take glutamine if you're stressed, because it actually helps to counteract those high cortisol levels and once again, help with better blood sugar balance and that sort of thing.